Hey everyone, it's Kennedy Hawk from the MCM team on December 2nd, 2022. Welcome back to Deck Talks, the annual MCM holiday tradition, where I spent all of November crafting some fun new decks for myself, and then share them to the community in December as a holiday gift. Happy holidays! Whatever holiday you and your family celebrate, I hope it includes playing some awesome Marvel Champions LCG with your family and friends. With that, let's get on to today's Decked Halls deck. It's Give 'em Green, and it's all about the Spider Friends. So again, if you haven't been in the Marvel Champions community before, or if you haven't listened to a Decked Halls episode before, this is a special episode that we do every December. We try to build a bunch of decks and see how the card pool has sort of changed old decks and old heroes, and then present them all to the community in December as sort of a holiday gift. This year's a little different. In the past, we used to try to tackle every hero and make a deck, but that's become sort of unsustainable. So what I'm going to do this year is over 12 days this holiday season, I'm going to release one deck per day that was built with a single card pool. So you can build all these decks at the same time with an asterisk with one card pool. So that means if I use a card in one deck, I won't be able to use it in another deck unless we have reprints of that card in some way. You can use your collection to make these decks and remove holiday stress from yourself, and then just enjoy this game with your family and friends this holiday season. Other content creators are also celebrating the holidays this year, so be sure to check out the Critical Encounters YouTube page from December 1st to the 25th for a full month of holiday fun. In the holiday spirit, I'm going to continue raising funds for UNM Children's Hospital via Extra Life. So if you enjoy this holiday content, enjoy Marvel Champions, and just love playing this game with your kids, consider donating $1 to the Children's Hospital. They've helped my children on a numerous amount of occasions, and I'm really appreciative to them, and this is my way of giving back. So let's get to that deck. So today's deck is called Give 'em Green. It's all about Web Warriors shenanigans. So you're going to be using Web of Life and Destiny, which is after a Web Warrior ally leaves play, choose a player, that player draws a card, to just spam other players with cards. So it's really meant to be a multiplayer deck where you get Adventurous Mansion down, Web of Life and Destiny down, and you just have these bursty turns where you maybe have 3 or 4 allies leave play, send all of those cards to another player, and give them a mansion and say happy holidays to the partner that you're playing with. So the steps are: you become a warrior of the Great Web, you spam those Web Warrior allies, let them go to your discard, that's totally okay, or back to your hand in Spider's case. Then you send cards to any player. It could be yourself in solo or another player in multiplayer. I definitely recommend another player because nothing brings a smile to someone's face more than saying, hey, draw 5 cards. You can double your Great Web attack buff, something that isn't used a lot, using What Doesn't Kill Me. So you take a little bit of damage, you maybe let 3 allies leave play and get +3 attack at Spider-Man, so he's up to a 5. Now you can use What Doesn't Kill Me to ready him and get to attack again. One of the combos that's sort of baked into here is Spider UK and Pinned Down. So when Spider UK defends against an attack, he deals damage to the enemy equal to the number of Web Warrior cards you control. So if you put Pinned Down on an enemy, you can sort of sustain it until Spider-Man UK is ready to take it out, which can be super, super fun. So let's go through the deck really quick. For allies, we've got Black Cat, and then we've got 6 Web Warrior allies. We have Ghost Spider, Silk Spider, Spider-Man, that's Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man, the one that is Hobby Brown, and Spider UK. You have an event, Assess the Situation, 2 copies of that. You've got all your Spider-Man events, and then I've got 2 copies of Thwip Thwip and 2 copies of What Doesn't Kill Me. Thwip Thwip can be really important. It's what lets you trigger multiple ally deaths in one turn if their consequential damage doesn't line up. We've got our 3 basic resources. We've got Avengers Mansion and Web of Life and Destiny. Now, it's really important you want to try to get Web of Life and Destiny at 0 cost. You can only do that if your identity has the Web Warrior trait. And that's really important to note. None of the other Web Warrior cards require your identity to have the Web Warrior trait. They just require you to control a Web Warrior card. So as soon as you get Web of Life and Destiny into play, you can play all those allies. Spider-Man UK doesn't even have that requirement. So it's going to be a little bit of setup to get to the point where you can spam all these allies unless you're playing as an inherent Web Warrior, but still can have a lot of payoff. Since this is a multiplayer deck, I put in 2 copies of Endurance, 3 copies of Pinned Down to go with Spider UK, so that's going to give a minion -2 attack. 1 copy of Plan B, because if you're giving someone 5 cards, there's a good chance they won't be able to use them all, so let's give them a way to throw that card away for some damage. And then we have 2 copies of Warrior of the Great Web. In my testing, I found 2 was pretty okay for getting it in my first 2 to 3 turns. For a while, I had that at 3, and I didn't have Plan B, but playing in multiplayer, I found I really wanted a copy of Plan B in there. So your mileage may vary. You might want to change it around a little bit. So this is a great deck to play with Spider-Man, but other Spider characters, at least one in particular, has a deck building restriction that makes this deck impossible. So I wanted to show you the Spider-Woman variant. So this is taking the same concept of a deck, spamming a bunch of allies, getting that attack buff with Warrior of the Great Web, and changing it a little bit to take advantage of Spider-Woman's inherent ability to have two aspects. So we're going to get rid of our copies of Assess the Situation, we're going to get rid of our Thwips, and we're going to get rid of our What Doesn't Kill Me's, because we have self-propelled Glide, which does basically the same thing for Spider-Woman. From aggression, we're going to include 3 copies of Bring It, 2 copies of Skilled Strike, which I know I used in the last deck, but this is like a bonus thing, so we're going to count it still, and 1 copy of Boot Camp. So you've now turned your Spider allies that you want to use for the consequential damage and have them go away to let you draw cards into an ally aggression deck. So you can just spam attack with all of your allies except Spider UK. He can still pin down into things and provide you that Web Warrior trait that you need to trigger all of your other stuff. This version can be really fun because you can sustain a lot of allies with pin down and play Bring It to draw a bunch of cards. I've seen a ton of people build that deck online and it's super fun. And this is just taking a slight spin on that and adding in the Web Warrior shenanigans. Alright, so that's how it works with Spider-Woman. But I wanted to go a little bit further because you can play this deck, believe it or not, without even being a Web Warrior character. So this is the Avengers variant, which is totally a typo. It was supposed to just say Avengers variant. So this is even less changes from the original Spider-Man deck. So you're not going to be able to take as good of advantage of Warrior of the Great Web because you'd be playing that onto an ally, which isn't nearly as exciting. What we're going to do instead is we're going to use Muster Courage and Thwip and really lean into the Spider-Man UK pinned down or Spider-Man UK mentality. So if you get Spider-Man UK down, you can put Tough on him, you can defend a ton of times, you can get a really wide board of Spider allies into play, and just use them to fuel your card draw and use Spider UK to like punch the villain really hard on defense phases with all of your Web Warrior cards. You are going to have to pay full cost for Web of Life and Destiny. This version doesn't work nearly as well as a Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, or Web Warrior version, but it was still fun to play and see that you can use this Web Warrior package outside of a Web Warrior hero. So I recommend trying it out at least once. It can be pretty fun. I think adding toughness to all those allies so that you can like really line up their leaving play into the same turn can be really fun. And if you play it with Captain Marvel, you also get your inherent alter ego ability to push one more card to another player. So playing this version, there was one turn where I got 3 allies to leave play, my mansion, and Carol's ability, passing 5 cards to my wife, who was extremely happy to basically play 2 turns. So those are the variants in the deck. So the hero highlights heroes that this deck works with well. Obviously it works with Spider-Man Pete. It works with Spider-Man Miles, although you'll have to swap the Miles ally out for the Peter basic ally. It works with Ghost Spider, same problem. You're going to have to swap an ally out. And Spider-Ham. The Spider-Woman variant obviously works with Spider-Woman. And then I found the Avengers variant works best with Captain Marvel, Black Widow, just for the Spider theme, and Doctor Strange, because he's got other ways to add tough and card draw and just go bonkers. So that is the second deck of Decked Hauls. I'm going to get everything set up on TTS here against Sandman. So I built all these decks in November. I'm now playing them on the day of the release of this video, so we'll see how it goes in my game against Sandman. Hey everybody, Decked Hauls Day 2. We're going to be playing the Spider-Man Give Him Some Green deck, where we're all about passing players to another card. Since we're playing solo, passing cards to another player. Since we're playing solo, it's going to be all about passing cards to ourselves. But hopefully you'll see how this could work out in multiplayer as well. So we're set up here against Sandman. I'm going to draw my opening 6 and see what I got. Web of Life and Destiny right away. That's great. We unfortunately don't have the Web Warrior trait, so we're going to be discarding pretty much all of our hand looking for that Warrior of the Great Web card. We did not draw into one, so we could hard cast Web of Life and Destiny or hold on to it for a turn, which is probably what's most likely for us. Either way, first turn begins. We are going to use our Scientist ability. What's the resource icon on Warrior of the Great Web? Now I can't even remember. I could play Black Cat and try to search for it, is what I'm thinking. Seems like a real bad idea, though. We could flip up and play webbed up. That's going to slow down how fast we get things. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use webbed up to play, no, we'll use our genius, whatever it is, scientist to play endurance. Give ourselves some more hit points. We're going to flip up. We're going to use webbed up and black cat to play spider. Nope, we don't control a web warrior card. We can't do that yet. Wow. Wowzers. Maybe we do just hard cast Web of Life and Destiny. It kind of feels like a waste, but in the long run, I don't think it will be. So we're going to hold on to Spider and throw Web of Life and Destiny down for 3. We'll sweep the streets for 2. And ready up and see what we get. We're drawing 4 cards. 2 copies of What Doesn't Kill Me, Plan B, and Web Shooter. Web of Life and Destiny does have the Web Warrior trait, so we're able to play Spider now. 1 threat going in the main scheme. Sandman's going to attack us for 2 plus something. We are going to defend, but we'll draw a card. And he attacks us for 4. So we will take 1 damage and have to resolve Surging Sands. So it's up to 3 sand counters, discarding 3 cards. We get an encounter card, which is the villain attacks you. Ouch, this is going to hurt. For 2, 3. So we are down to 9 hit points, and again, we're going to have to resolve Surging Sands because we haven't gotten any allies or anything out yet to absorb that. 2 Surging Sands in turn 1 against Spider-Man. That is not looking pretty. But it is our go. See what we can get done here. I think we're going to use Plan B to play a web shooter. 3 resources on it. We will use What Doesn't Kill Me and What Doesn't Kill Me to play Spider. Spider is going to attack for 1 so that they can take 1 consequential, because we're going to want them to bounce back and forth to our hand pretty constantly. I'm honestly going to flip down this turn. I don't think that's the end of the world for us. Ready everything up and throw away a Thwip, because we would really like to see one of those Warriors of the Great Web cards. Alright. 1 threat going on the main. Sandman's going to scheme for 1 plus 0. And we get 1 encounter card, which is Tidal Sands. When revealed, place X additional threat here, where X is the number of sand counters in city streets. So a 6 threat hazard. Good thing we have Spider out, huh? Okay. It's our go. We are going to use our genius ability to play Aunt May. She's going to feed us some cookies. Let's get back up to full health. We will flip up. We will use Spider for thwarting, so she's going to thwart for 2. If she's defeated by taking excess consequential, she returns to our hand, which is great. And we can exhaust. We don't even have to exhaust. Just after a Web Warrior leaves play, choose a player. That player draws 1 card for Web of Life and Destiny. So we're going to draw another card from that. Pretty awesome. Alright, we've got Ghost Spider and Spider in hand. I'd like to get both of them down. We drew into a Warrior of the Great Web. There's a million things we want to play. Let's use a Web Shooter to play Warrior of the Great Web and get that out on us. So we will always have a Web Warrior in play. And now we have the option of Ghost Spider or Spider. It doesn't look like we can afford both. So I think what I'm going to do is use Enhanced Spider Sense and Endurance to play Spider. I'll play Assess the Situation to increase my hand size and discard Avengers Mansion. Spider's going to attack for 1 again, just to get the consequential set up. Spidey is going to sweep the streets for 2, and we're going to have to deal with a hazard card for this turn. I'm going to hold on to Ghost Spider for next turn, and draw 5 cards because of Assess the Situation. So we've got Ghost Spider, Pinned Down, Spider Tracer, Energy, Enhanced Spider Strength, and Webbed Up. So 1 threat going to the main. Sandman's going to attack us for 2 plus something, and we will block. 2 plus 0, we take none. That's really good. We get 2 encounter cards because of that hazard symbol. So we have a Sand Clone and a Sandstorm. We're going to take 2 indirect damage. We'll put both of that on Spider-Man, putting him down to 11. Good thing we swept the streets. Okay. Now what are we going to do? Alright, let's have Spider thwart that side scheme right away and bounce back to hand. We'll gain +1 attack on Spider-Man from Warrior of the Great Web because a Spider ally left play. And we've got 6 cards in hand, but we should draw 1 more from Web of Life and Destiny. So we're up to 8 cards in hand, and I probably forgot to draw one when he attacked me as well. Bummer, missed a trigger. Alright, that's okay. We can keep going for now. We're going to pay 2 to replay Spider. And even though I would like her to keep bouncing to hand, we're going to use her 2 thwart consequential to get rid of Tidal Sands, because we can't afford that hazard icon forever. She's going to enter my discard pile, but I'm going to get another +1 attack on Spidey and another card draw from Web of Life and Destiny. Alright, we did not draw into a What Doesn't Kill Me, which is what I was hoping to see here. I'm going to play a pinned down on this Sand Clone. That's going to give him 0 attack, so he can just chill for a while. Doesn't hurt us at all. We're going to use a Webbed Up to put a Spider Tracer on him, so we'll use him for thwarting in the future. And then we'll use our other Spider Tracer, Enhanced Spider Strength, and Swinging Web Kick to play Ghost Spider. Ghost Spider is going to attack for 2. And we will ready everybody up. Drawing 5 cards. Spider-Man UK, that's what we were waiting for. This is good. So we've got 1 threat going on the main. It's at 7. We probably have to worry about that soon. Sandman's going to attack us, and we're going to draw a card. We have a backflip, so we're not going to exhaust to defend. The boost card is another Sand Clone, and we're just going to backflip out of it. Sand Clone attacks us for 0, which is great. And we get a Sand Form ability card. So when you would deal any amount of damage to Sandman, discard this card instead. Resolve Searching Sands. Okay, not so bad. We've got 2 more pinned downs in our hand. We really don't need that right now. So let's use one of those and a Genius to play Spider-Man UK. So when Spider-Man UK defends against an attack, deal damage to the attacking enemy equal to the number of Web Warrior cards you control. Right now that is 4, so pretty good. We will have Ghost Spider thwart for 1. Spider-Man is back down to just his base 2 attack. We will have Spider-Man UK thwart for 1. We will have Spidey sweep the streets down to 0. Someone just taught me how to flip that and make that work out, so that's really cool. We'll use Assess the Situation to go to a 6-card hand size and discard our second pinned down. Alright, we are drawing 6 cards because of Assess the Situation, so we are going to deck out. Deal ourselves an encounter card. 1 threat in the main. That last 2 damage actually should have resolved Surging Sands. Sorry about that. So let me put that back on there. Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't do 2 damage to him. Never mind. Sand Form, you're still there. Cleaning up my board state, sorry. Okay. We put our threat out. He's going to attack us. We have a backflip again, so we're going to draw a card. He's attacking us for 5. We're going to backflip it. Sand Clone attacks us for 0. Cool. But we're going to have Spider-Man UK defend it and deal 4 damage back to the Sand Clone. Pretty snazzy. So he'll get discarded. Pin Down will go to our discard. Spider Tracer will go to our discard and remove 3 threat, and we'll have to resolve Searching Sands, which is going to put it to 1. Discarding in advance. We've got 2 encounter cards to deal with now. The first one is Sand Smash. He's going to attack us with +1 attack. I think I'm just going to take this one. So 3, 4. I'm going to assign it all to Spider-Man, which is going to resolve Surging Sands. But that's okay. And we get to draw a card from Spider-Man's ability. And we've got an Assault, so he's going to attack us again. This one will defend, so he's a... will we? Will we? This is hard. Life is hard right now. Yeah. We won't defend it. We'll just let him hit us again. So just for 2. We're going to resolve Surging Sands again. His deck is almost empty. A little terrifying, but it's our go. And we didn't draw from that second secondary attack, so we will. So in our hand, we've got Strength, Spider-Man UK, no, Spider-Punk, Warrior of the Great Web, which we don't need right now, Thwip, Energy, Swinging Web Kick, Web Shooter, and Assess the Situation. We've got Ghost Spider ready to go, and we'll see what we can do here. So I think we're going to pay 1, 2, and then one of our Web Shooter counters to play Spider-Punk. So he's in play. What will we do? What will we do? I think we will use Ghost Spider to it. Should we wait one more turn? Get like a big old thing off? It's not a bad idea. Let's use Hobby Brown to attack for 1. We'll use Ghost Spider to sweep the streets. We'll use Spider-Man to attack for 2. We're going to pay 2 for a Thwip. Deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior control. We'll put that on Hobby. Put 2 stun statuses on up to 2 enemies. We'll just put them on Sandman. And one of those damages actually was a sand form, unfortunately. So put that back on the villain. Place a total of 2 stun cards on up to 2 enemies. So I think I can put both on him, but they can't stack because he doesn't have steady. So we're just putting 1 out. We will use Swinging Web Kick to play a second Web Shooter. We will use we'll play Assess the Situation, and we'll use that second Web Shooter to put Warrior of the Great Web onto Ghost Spider, I think. Seems a bit weird, but we're going to turn that into a lot of damage, hopefully. So alright, let's ready everybody up. I'm thinking about flipping down. I think I will flip down. We'll use Aunt May to heal 4, so we're back up to 9 health. Drawing 7 cards because of our Assess the Situation. 1 threat going on the main. Sandman schemes for just 1. And we get an encounter card, 5 threat in the main scheme. It's a Rhino. There's a guy we can put stunned on. Alright. That does empty the encounter deck, so we're going to place an acceleration token and have to put 3 indirect damage out. So we're going to put all 3 on Pete. And away we go. We will Aunt May 4 health back. Seems like a good plan. We will potentially not be able to use our Genius. Doesn't that stink? No, I think... Yeah, so... Let's see what is in our discard that is identity specific. Swinging Web Kick. So we will use Spider-Man Hobby to attack for 1. It's going to hit Sandman down to 10. When he leaves play, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Deal damage to the villain equal to the number of boost icons. So let's shuffle that encounter deck up. So we're doing 1, 2, 3 to the villain. And we get to choose a player to draw a card. It's going to be us. Ghost, Spider, and Peter get +1 attack from Warrior of the Great Web. Now we can use, I don't know, Pinned Down and our Genius ability to play Silk. We get to search the encounter deck for a Treachery and discard it. We're just going to discard in advance. This could be game ending, one scheme thing. Now we're going to flip up because we've used all of our resources that we needed to use. Alright, so we could have Silk attack. We'll have Silk Thwart for 1. We'll have Spider-Man UK attack for 2. We will have Ghost Spider attack for 3. That's going to make her leave play, along with Warrior of the Great Web. We'll get to go search out an identity-specific card from our discard pile, which will be Swinging Web Kick. We'll trigger Web of Life and Destiny to draw a card. We'll trigger Warrior of the Great Web to get +2 attack on Peter. So he's up to a 4. We will use one of the Swinging Web Kicks to play a Plan B. Discard a random card from your hand. That's kind of a little early for that, but we got a lot of cards in there, and there's only one we don't want to discard. So let's shuffle up. And we discarded a backflip. That was literally the one I didn't care about, so that's good. That's going to do 2 damage to Sandman, which will push him to the next phase. We're going to resolve Searching Sands right away on this next phase. 3 sand counters, and we've got 18 health to chew through, and he is stunned. Should be pretty easy. Alright, let's use Genius to play Black Cat. See if we draw into anything. We draw an Enhanced Spider Sense and a Thwip Thwip. Wow, that's amazing. I put a Webbed Up on the table. I meant to put a Black Cat down. Black Cat will ping for 1. Taking no consequential. We will use a Webbed Up and an Enhanced Spidey Strength to play Thwip Thwip. We're going to deal 1 to Silk, which is going to defeat her. So again, Pete will go up 1 in attack. We'll draw 1 card. And she's going to put 2 stunned cards onto Rhino. Because I feel like since he's steady, he could use 2. Alright, Pete is up to 5 attacks, so he's going to punch for 5, down to 12. We've got 2 web shooters out, so we'll use one of them along with Webbed Up and Endurance to play a Swinging Web Kick for 8. Sandman's down to 4. All we got to do is live through the turn, and I think we're good to go. And everything on the board is stunned, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be fine. Phase ends, so we lose our bonus from Warrior of the Great Web, and we're drawing 5 cards. Oh, there's our What Doesn't Kill Me, so that's what I needed last turn. Okay, 2 threat going on the main scheme. Villain is stunned. Rhino is stunned. We get an encounter card. It's the villain attacks you, so we draw a card. We will defend with Spider-Man UK. That seems good. He's going to boost for 0, so he is attacking for 3. It deals indirect damage, so we could assign 2 to Black Cat. Sorry, Black Cat, that's going to defeat you. 1 to Spider-Man UK to put him to 4, and we've got, 1, 2, 3 Web Warrior cards out, so he gets to deal 3 to the attacking enemy. Just enough to get him down to 1, and that was from our encounter card, so Spidey can finish him off just with a punch to the face. And there you go. That was it. I'm still not completely sold that I love Warrior of the Great Web, but I love trying to make it work. I think it can be really fun with the protection suite that's out there, and I think you can build around it. Hopefully you shuffle a little bit better and draw into 1 early. You might want to jump up to 3 when you're building this deck just to make sure you draw it faster than I did, and you don't have to pay for Web of Life and Destiny. But either way, you can create a ton of income from this, and that can go to any player. So when I was testing this in 2 to 3 player, and we had this out, there were turns that I was passing like 4 cards to the next player in player order. Great Christmas gift. All right. Tune in tomorrow for Deck Talls Day 3. Happy holidays!